welcome to the second decade that I'm going to be talking about. My favorite records of the decade, 1990 till 1999. I saw when I compiled the list that it had the most albums in it. So I'm going to turn this down a little. So what I'm going to do now is to do it in more than one update, like several updates, because I probably won't be able to fit it in one video. So it's going to be like I think 5 or 6 updates throughout the next couple of weeks, and then I'm going to do the same for the 80s, 70s, 60s. So this is part 1, I guess. I picked 8 albums that I'm going to be showing. First up, Babes in Toyland. This is Fontanelle. Babes in Toyland. They blew me away with this album when I first heard it back in 1991 when I bought it on CD. It's feminine yet it's wild. This is definitely part of the Riot Girl scene that went on back in the early 90s. And they are, to me, the greatest in that genre. You know, they are doing their own thing and flipping the bird at any male chauvinist pig out there. Gee, I sound like a feminist here, but I'm not. Oh, I am. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if these girls, these women are feminists, but my God, they are angry. They are very, very angry. Great album. If you ever want to start buying Babes in Toyland, this is where to start, and then go back to Mother and Spanking Machine, and then also, you know, Nemesis Sisters. Try that one. That's okay. That's their last studio album. This is their best. And an album that I have the band cover of. This is the band cover. Why is it banned? Well, there's a great story on a documentary on Tad that I have on DVD, but I don't know the name of right now. Anyway, it's basically the story is they bought like this photo book which they thought was empty at a pawn shop, and so they could put pictures in there. Apparently there was a picture in there, this picture, of a couple, taken somewhere in the mid to late 70s, and they thought, hey, that's nice, let's use that as an album cover. So they retouched it with colors and said they wanted to use it as the album art. Sub Pop, the label, said, sure, let's do it. They did, and lo and behold, either the man or the woman, I don't know, walks into a record store the day the album gets released, and they see this on vinyl, and they go apeshit, literally apeshit. They sue Sub Pop. Sub Pop has to retrieve all the album covers. I don't know if the same happened with the album art in Germany, because this is a German pressing, but that's at least the story I know of. The other album art, I think this, which is a guy on a little car or something. I don't know. Anyway, this is Egle Santa. It's, I think, their second album or their third album. I'm not too sure, but it is their best. It's got Jinx, Jack Pepsi, Stumbling Man. It's loud, it's aggressive. I like to call this band the Black Sabbath of grunge. They are that loud, that mean, that dirty. Great thing about this album, it comes on yellow vinyl. It cost me a pretty penny, but I'm happy with it. Very happy with it. This is one of my favorite grunge bands ever. Then I had a big problem choosing either this album or an album I recently shown in an update. But that one's from the 80s and this is from the 90s, so I said, like, let's go for the obscure one and show the second album by Bomb the Bass, Unknown Territory. It's not as good as Into the Dragon, but it's still really, really, really good. It's a sadly, you know, hidden treasure, an obscure treasure, and it's really great dance music mixed with hip-hop beats, samples, soul, rave music. It's all over the place, and this guy doesn't get the recognition he deserves to get. So there's no real singles on here, but it's well worth it. I think Winter in July was a small hit, but overall it didn't brought up any big hit singles like Beat This or Say a Little Prayer that Into the Dragon did. But it's still an amazing album, and an artist well worth checking out. Another album that cost me a pretty penny, basically for the reason that it's only released on vinyl in Germany and not in America. Maybe it is now, I don't know, but at the time it wasn't released in Germany. It wasn't released in America. It was only released in Germany on vinyl, and that is Hold It Through This. It is their best album. The album they did before this was noisy. It was a little all over the place. I love it, but it's just too chaotic, too tenseful. This is like more of a just good Riot Girl / grunge album that Hole always wanted to make, and they made it, and I don't think they got better after this. This is the album released on City Slang Records, whereas the original was released on Geffen. Yeah, it's a great album, and yeah, I just love it. Courtney does what she didn't do afterwards, didn't do before. Just made a really good album, and a great cover from Somebody on Marbles, Credit in the Straight World. So this is well worth checking out if you haven't already. Now what you've been hearing in the background is this album. I have to read up the title. It's The Comforts of Madness by Pale Saints. Pale Saints, as you can hear, is a shoegaze band from the UK in a time when there were loads of shoegaze bands in the UK. Released on 4AD, these are like the siblings of My Bloody Valentine and Ride. They are the little siblings of those two amazing bands. Not that well known, but very beautiful shoegaze music that if you love shoegaze, you might check these guys out, because they are indeed pretty good. That's all I'm going to say about this album. I don't know much to say about it, except that I think it's serene and beautiful and stuff like that. Now, the next one, Sonic Youth. Why do I pick this one and not Sister and not Evil or Daydream Nation? It's because I don't have those on vinyl. I don't have a lot of Sonic Youth on vinyl, even though I really, at the time when I bought this, adored Sonic Youth, and if I really put my mind to it at the time, I would have probably gotten every Sonic Youth album, original album, on vinyl. But I didn't. This is one of the albums I have, and yeah, from the albums that I do have on vinyl, I have everything on CD, but on vinyl, this is my favorite. It's an original release on Geffen from 1994. Comes complete with, doesn't come complete with the interchangeable sleeves that the CDs had, but it's got the original inner sleeve. And the thing why I bought it at the time, it's a blue vinyl release. Sonic Youth, an amazing band that have been going on since the early 80s and are still going strong. Releasing a new album this year. Well, it's more of a soundtrack. This is just a good, solid, Sonic Youth album. It's got Bull in the Header, Self-Obsessed and Sexy, Androgynous Mind, Doctor's Orders, In the Mind of the Bourgeois Reader. It's a really, really good. Screaming Skull. It's a solid Sonic Youth album, and that one that doesn't get mentioned a lot. So again, if you love Sonic Youth, this is something you should check out. You should check out everything they've done, but this is a good album. Now, on to the Boo Radleys, Giant Steps. Boo Radleys, another sadly underrated band from the UK. I wished I had Wake Up Boo, the album that they did, where that song, I think it's called Wake Up, I'm not too sure. But that is my favorite Boo Radley song. It's uplifting, it's happy, it makes you want to get up and face the new day. This one is I Hang Suspended. This one has I Hang Suspended on it, which is what their big song from this album. And it's weird. This album is pretty weird. It's a psychedelic double album that they did in 1993, and it didn't really make any waves. Maybe because at the time Oasis was making a lot of waves, but this band on the same label as Oasis, Creation, a label that I do collect, I love Creation, they came up with this very big plan to make a double album that is, 60s psychedelic, but still Britpop at the time now. A great band, Giant Steps, great album, a must-have. The last album I'm going to show you is True Man's Water. Godspeed the Punchline. This is more in the realm of Sonic Youth, what they do, except crazier, noisier, freakier, weirder, and just plain out there. Sonic Youth they make songs with noise in them. This is basically just noise with songs in it. Can't name many songs that you might know, because it's a band that isn't that well known, but there's 18 tracks on here, and they range from just plain noisy to just little experimental pop rock things. True Man's Water, a band that not a lot of people know, but a band that, if you are into really experimental, noisy records, that you should check out. And it's the last album I'm going to show you in this update. I'm going to be doing another update next week, maybe two, because I've got a week off next week. And I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more.